Okay,
System sound volume
everybody,
set to
I am
0%.
going to continue with Ghost Story 25. Yes, Ghost Story 25. So we are gonna keep going with that tonight. And yes, we left off where Nigel is the baby dove at the birth hospital. Okay, so the 8 years prior from his blind and deaf situation, Nigel was thriving. He was becoming much stronger and more independent. I could tell that Nigel wanted to be independent, but how would we communicate with him? It was going to be a challenge, and throughout the years, I've gotten the hang of it. 8 more years later, he's 16, and he's got a mate who's fully sighted, and she could hear her much better, so she could help him. So Nigel has this mate that could help him around. So basically, she's guiding him around by flying around, showing him what's there and what's not there. Throughout the years I've had Nigel, I had a lot of fun with him. 16 years, that was amazing. And now they're mating, and it's become a long run with them. The two doves got along very well, and started mating as soon as possible. The two doves laid 2 eggs, and they were starting the laying process, and laid 2 successful eggs and had 2 babies, 2 baby doves. I was the first one to notice the baby doves, and I wasn't sure if any of the baby doves would get the same problem as Nigel, blind or deaf. Luckily, none of them had the same problems as him, although they had another medical history. Their wing has the feather growth. It's not growing the way it should be. It's coming out of angle, and it gives them a lot of pain. So the first 2 months it was agonizing pain, and I thought, how would we be able to handle 2 baby doves that are suffering with feather problems on their wings? We had no idea what to do. Fast forward maybe about 12 years later, 16 plus 12 is, let's see what it is.
0 hour 3 minutes 32. Pause button. Resume button. Resume.
Nigel is 28 years old. He became pretty sick. His mate had passed away. She was 29 years old. Nigel was 28, so he didn't have much time to live. And the baby doves were about 12 years old. I was pretty shocked that the 2 adult doves lived quite a long time. They were a year apart, and they spent a lot of time together, and it was nice having them. After Nigel had passed away, the house started to feel strange, and my friend Christian Ark had noticed it first. He noticed that the lights would turn off by itself, and his iPhone charger would be unhooked from his phone when it should be plugged in. There were times where my phone was thrown across the room, and this was when Angel, the eldest dove, she was 13, and the other one was 13, but they were both 18 hours apart, so I want to say, like, at least 2.5 days apart. It was crazy how Angel was just sitting there on my shoulder while I was baking a cake, and that's when I heard something slam against the wall right next to me. That's when I walked over and found my phone on the floor. Luckily, I had a screen protector on, or else I would have been dead. I had no idea what to do. Christian Arca just bought me that phone that very day. It was an iPhone 8S. S8. It was an iPhone S8. And it was one of the newest ones, so I got it. And I was happy that I got an iPhone, finally, in my first time having an actual iPhone S8. The iPhone 9 would be coming out too. Not sure when. After I was done baking, we put on a movie and we settled down to watch a movie. It was around Halloween, so we watched a Halloween movie. And Christian at the time, he had a lot of work, and he worked at Dollar Tree. So he had overnight stock. It was about 2 p.m. when we started the movie, and Christian had to go to work at 5:30, so we watched the movie, and then he took a nap for about a half hour, and then he got ready for work. And at the time, I lived in a big mansion, so he had an upstairs part.
Landscape.
While I had
Portrait.
the downstairs part.
0 hour 7 minutes 5 seconds.
I was a bit paranoid to be home alone. But I knew I had the 2 baby doves, my grand doves, to take care of. And I couldn't leave them behind. JJ and Angel were 2 doves, male and female. I had them for 13 years. Their 14th birthday rolled around, and I baked them a cake with seeds and stuff for doves that they eat. The 2 doves liked it, and
Landscape.
eventually,
Portrait.
I don't know why my phone does that. Actually, let me see what.
Notification. Screen is locked in portrait orientation.
That is
Notification
odd.
shade. Talk back. Camera.
So, eventually, Angel found herself a mate on Friday, September 7th, which was my birthday. She had gotten attached to her mate, who was
Landscape.
only...
Portrait.
I don't know why it does that. It says it's locked in portrait orientation, but then when I move my phone to the right or left, it doesn't. I don't know. So then, she ended up finding a mate. She goes out later that night. I'm sitting alone, and JJ, the dove, is in bed. I'm sitting alone watching TV, and the TV turns off. I turn on again with the remote. A few seconds later, it turns back off. So I thought, okay, is the power strip unhooked? I swear to God, I go by, like, the TV, and I see somebody right behind the TV with the plug. I screamed bloody murder. I bolted out of the house and ran to my friend's house next door, which her name is Dove. She called 911, and they came, and they took whoever was in that house out in handcuffs. I was never informed of what happened because I didn't want to get paranoid again. My friend Dove stayed the night with me at my house, even though she was sick and battling some cancer treatment. She was 1 year younger than me. She was 19 and I was 20. Dove was the type of person who's not talkative a lot. I did not blame her. I'm kind of the same way. Don't know how to come out and say it, but Dove is the smartest person. Dove and I got along great, and our friendship came along closer. One night, she invited me to her house to have a sleepover, even though we're young adults, and, we just like to have fun. I go over to her house, and she has a German Shepherd and a Black Lab and a Cockatiel. So, the Cockatiel is in her bedroom, so that's where we would be sleeping, both of us. I was paranoid about that bedroom, and I did not want to go in there.
0 hour 11 minutes 1 second.
I was scared to go sleep in her bedroom, but I had to. I had no other way, but I had to make the decision of sleeping in that bedroom. So
Resume.
I asked my friend if I could sleep in the living room. She said, why? And I told her I was a bit paranoid about her bedroom because I had some experience before. Dove was okay with that. So Dove let me sleep on the living room floor. I was not comfortable with that. So I snuck up on the couch in the middle of the night when she was sleeping. Normally her dogs are up there, but this time they weren't. The Cockatiel is a watch Cockatiel, so he's the man in the house. He could tell her, yeah, she slept on the couch. Well, not gonna get busted for that. Mainly it was because she had just moved in. So, oh my god.
Resume.
So, in the middle of the night, as I just sat down on the couch with my blanket and pillow, I hear Dove say, "Are you okay?" coming from the bathroom. I yelled at her yes. I didn't get a response. So I just figured she was just too tired to say okay. I laid back down. 2 minutes later, the dogs are barking furiously. I'm wondering what is going on here. I had no idea. I was too scared. I had to find out. I go to my friend Dove's bedroom and I wake her up and I tell her the dogs are barking. Their hairs are standing up in their necks. She's wondering what is going on. I just was shaking. Okay.
0 hour 13 minutes 10 seconds. Stop.